Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the Oakland A's, who fucked around and found out last night, Dallas.
Bro, it's one game, right? Game one of the series, dude.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like, we
I
got
couldn't
two more
tell.
to play.
I couldn't tell. Actually, maybe I'll go back and rewatch the tape because I don't know what the discussion was on the Nesson broadcast, because they kept showing Dallas Braden in the booth, and me and Pap were on the alternate broadcast, and I was like, so we just have the real broadcast feed. We don't have our own feed. They kept showing Dallas, and I'm like, the game's going on. Why is he texting? And then lo and behold, we look up, and Dallas has tweeted a photograph with my mother and my sister as a way to lash out at the fact that the A's were getting their asses kicked by the Boston Red Sox, which is what I told you was going to happen. Like, I don't know why you would lash out. And
First of all, I'm a little disappointed to feel like me expressing my love and my friendship with two people is somehow misconstrued as me launching some sort of assault. I mean, Jared, I haven't been over here on the East Coast. The
caption said that like you were winning or something, like the Red Sox. Like
oh no, somebody asked me,
winning, but the A's were winning.
Yeah, so somebody was like, "Hey, DB, need a quick score check. I'm going through a tunnel," and I was like, "Look, man, I'm with you. I got bad Wi-Fi. I don't know, but I can tell you where I'm at right now and what I'm doing right now. And right now, I feel like if there was a scoreboard to take note of the situation, I would be winning. That's kind of what that meant. But like, as far as the score of the game was concerned, I told him, I was like, dude, I'm with you. I don't know. Satellite's out or something. I can't see. So as far as an update, here's what I do have for you.
Here's what I do have.
Yeah, that was really all it was about.
Got it. Got it.
I read that particular tweet as more of like a Charlie Sheen winning, like, yeah.
Did it come off
to date us by like, 12 years?
Yeah. Go ahead, just inject that tiger's blood into my fucking veins, baby.
That got old so fast, and it's been old for at least a decade.
Charlie Sheen or Dallas Braden hanging out with your family?
Both. It's a little bit of both.
A couple of things that had some staying power, though, Jared. That's what I'd be afraid of is, whether or not you're a fan of them or not. That's one thing. The staying power, though, buddy.
Yeah. Hot start, though. I mean, woo. Those Oakland A's came out of the gates, guns blazing. It was a quick
here, look. Just give me a vibe during the Nesson alt cast, you and Pap, because I FaceTimed you right before we went on.
Oh, we were torching you the entire broadcast.
I know.
The name Dallas probably came up 45 times. Like, we were just absolutely torching you the whole time.
I know. Trust me. People were reaching out to me, which is why at the very end of the game, or not the end of the game, but really, well, yeah, I guess at the end of the game, I was left to I had one play. I had one move left, and it really, it really hurt to have to play the card. Game one. I'm not gonna lie. True. Game one, it hurt, but I may have gotten a little aggressive in my pregame prediction. Yeah. Although I was very close. I only needed one more guy to hit a homer.
I was close too. I said we were going to beat you by 7.
Yeah, you only beat us by 3.
Yeah. Well, we put some slapdick in there because we weren't going to waste any of the good relievers on the A's. But when the A's were up 2-0, I said we're still going to win this game by 7. So at one point, I believe they were up by 8. So I wasn't wrong. I think it was 10-2 at one point after the Dom Smith homer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's just baseball broadcasters being baseball broadcasters, just knowing their team. Dallas said, oh, these guys are going to hit homers, and they pretty much did. I said, we're going to beat you by 7. We at one point had an 8-run lead after being down 2. That's just knowing your strengths. And,
the Lawrence Butler homer was everything I needed in that moment, because things were obviously not going well. I needed one of the lefties that I told you about to hit a homer. He did. So that made me feel just slightly better
Sure.
about where we were at. I didn't need to watch the rest of the game. Euclid after the game was walking by and he said, "Hey, we got you on the broadcast." I was like, yeah, no, I know. And he goes, "It's like you were locked in." I was like, "Yeah, I sure was." You see, I said, "You see the tweet I sent to Jared?" He goes, "Yeah." "Oh, is that what?" I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. It's all right. It's all right though. You know what? Like I said, it's game one. There were a lot of fireworks early, but seriously, A's jump out to an early lead after all the shit I was talking to you. Are you looking at Pap going, "This can't happen"?
I mean, so Pap and I, that's our second game together, and the first one was also a Brian Bayo start. So we were kind of just like on Bayo can't suck again watch, and he did. It was a weird start. Like he struck out 11.
Yeah.
But he gave up 5. It's like, and a couple bombs. So
I said it's the worst taste that you can leave a start with, because you have something that you should be like sort of excited about, career high in punch outs.
Yeah.
But then you give up 5 and you give up a bomb at the end. The bomb by Lawrence Butler knocked him out of the ball game. So they're like, well, that was cool until it wasn't. Like, I was fucking dealing. Like, this is the first dude since 1961, Jared, to punch out, for the Red Sox anyway, to punch out the first 10 hitters he faced.
Was it batters faced? Because there was a lot of traffic in the first couple innings. It must have been like outs recorded, that like the first 10 outs
not batters
recorded.
faced. The first 10 outs to be recorded were all via strikeout.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about his, because like to open it up, I was talking about his ground ball rate. And then after the second inning, I was like,
not a lot of
well, you don't really have to worry about the ground ball rate when they're not putting the ball in play. So should they get the ball in play, there's a good chance the defense could get some work here on the ground. But yeah. So it was a tough outing for Bayo.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Positives, but
it wasn't great.
What's that?
It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Wasn't great.
No, I think that could be a spot where if that turn on the rotation picks it up and is consistent, I think the Red Sox very quickly can turn into a team that you have to be aware of.
I mean, you should be aware of us anyway. We're 10 games over 500.
Yeah, I'm talking in a bigger picture, not just in a race to get there. I'm talking when we start to look at how a rotation is going to set up.
Dallas is trying to buy in on like the Red Sox's potential World Series contenders right now, is what I'm getting.
No, that's a little aggressive.
That's kind of what I mean. They're already in a playoff spot. They're already 10 games over 500. So they're like, put it this way, Dallas. The Boston Red Sox have a better record than the Seattle Mariners. Like they would be in first place in the AL West. They're a game behind the Atlanta Braves. So feel like we should be garnering that respect right now.
Well, this is where the conversation was going, is if you have a rotation that starts to turn the way it is and Bayo's a part of that, well, now we start to have to look at the Red Sox as a team who, again, after everything you just said, like I'm factoring the standings and everything as it sits right now into this statement, which is, should their rotation be able to consistently turn over, and Bayo being a part of that? Because how have things gone? Like his last outing, good. But the 8 before that, not ideal collectively.
Yeah. I'm out on Bayo.
So if you can get a 6-inning performance where he's punching people out like that, like that's getting greedy. But I think that also tells you what the club could look like if you get something similar to that his next 12 starts.
Well, hell of a night for baseball. I feel like, baseball broadcasts probably feature you a lot, like opposing teams when they're playing the A's. I feel like they always like put a camera on Dallas just because he's just like interesting looking. They're just like, look at this guy. would you look at this guy? Like they're playing the Cardinals and the Cardinals broadcast just has a camera on Dallas. They're just like, do you see what this fucking guy looks like? Look at them.
I've been asked twice. I was asked twice yesterday if these people could run their fingers through my beard.
Yeah,
It's not
I
something
could
that
see
happens a
that.
lot.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
I let it
you're
happen.
very, very interesting looking person. Best compliment I could pay you. But I'm going to pay Underdog Fantasy a compliment right now. Because Underdog Fantasy has a promo running right now that if you're not getting involved, you just don't like winning, which is
What are
fine.
you
I mean,
doing?
like the A's don't like winning. Like I'm not saying that those people don't exist. There are definitely people out there that just don't like winning. Bob Nutting, for example. There are people out there. John Henry. People that don't like winning anymore. But if you like winning, we over at Underdog Fantasy are running a promo right now where all Gunnar Henderson has to do is hit one home run in the home run derby. He just has to hit one. Did you have a stat yesterday, Jay? That when's the last time someone didn't hit a home run in the home run derby?
It was a decade ago. Yasiel Puig was the last
Puig.
participant to exit a derby without hitting a single home run, and as we all know, that was multiple iterations of the derby ago. I think it would be even harder to do so now. So I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I am saying that it seems like an incredible value.
Yeah. On the surface, it's giving away incredible value vibes.
I mean, if it's a once a decade sort of thing that you're trying to avoid, and I think we're all also on the same page that Gunnar Henderson is a talent in a way Yasiel Puig could never dream of being. So I'm endorsing. I'm fully behind.
Man,
one home run.
One home run is all you need. One home run is all you need. The MLB season is in full swing, and Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting, and boy, are they. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats, strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball. Or you can mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Underdog is available in 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and our favorite state, Canada. You want to use a promo code? You want to make that juice even juicier? Use the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $250 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. That fucking hiccup was just sitting there, just waiting to come out. Lurking. We do have more. Speaking of the home run derby and the Gunnar Henderson promo that we're doing, we have 3 more home run derby participants announced since our last podcast on Monday. The entrance that we did know at the time, Mr. Home Run Derby himself. That is all-star first baseman Pete Alonso.
Pedro
made the derby. Gunnar Henderson, who again, if he hits one home run in the home run derby, you can win with Underdog Fantasy. And Alec, don't call me Alex, Joey Bohm. The 3 participants that have been announced since our last episode. From the Kansas City Royals, the MVP pick of, I think, Justin Havens and, did you go Dallas? No, just Jay Hay? Just Jay Hay. Yeah. Bobby Witt Jr. is participating in this year's Home Run Derby. Also in the Jay Hay corner of the Cleveland Guardians, Jose Ramirez will be participating in the Home Run Derby. And last and certainly least, Marcell Ozuna is going to be in the Home Run Derby, which says to me how desperate Major League Baseball is for participants.
Absolutely.
Like, how many people had to say no before Major League Baseball was like, we got to do it. Guy hits home runs. We got to get him in there. I mean, we are I don't know.
It is-
In the last 2 years, we're 1 domestic violence and 2 DUIs or something like that. And
What a
and
choice,
that's-
man.
That's who
it
we're-
really
You can
it-
invite
it-
anybody you want. Anybody you want.
Like when I see something like this and I think about the effort trying to be made to include, X amount of groups, include X amount of people in whatever it is you're trying to do. And I would never oppose that. But when you do things like that, and then you make a choice like this, do you understand and are you aware of how much of the hand you're trying to feed people with you're essentially biting off? Like, does it just doesn't, it's like you're almost, you're saying as an industry, you're going, we know, but we just don't have to talk about that. Okay. So like the thing with Ozuna is when you pick a dude like this and you have had all of the transgressions, all of the things that have unfolded surrounding him, and then you also choose to fight battles, I don't want to say of the similar ilk, but things that could very well go one way, you've chosen to go a different route. You've chosen to take a different path. And it just seems like there's some wild inconsistency with the messaging and the action, right? And how often do you hear, well, look, you can tell me all you want. You can say all the pretty words you want, but show me. And so you've heard all the pretty words and you've understood where baseball tells you they want to stand on things like this. But then when you have an opportunity to handpick individuals to showcase, this is an individual that you have chosen to handpick. And now I think if you want to try to have a serious conversation about this, you could, like a devil's advocate perspective could be, well, he was punished and or went through any sort of legal litigation that may or may not have surrounded his transgressions. Yes or no? And then if you answer that question and move on, the next question is, so then at what point in time is he no longer punished for things he may have already been punished for? And you then ask, so if he continues to excel at his job, does it he just never receives the accolade? He never receives the attention. He never receives what theoretically would be due to him because of his productivity?
I don't think that it's due to him, though. I think like if the Braves win the World Series and he wins World Series MVP, it's not like they're going to not allow him to win the World Series MVP. It's like, all right, you're on the team, you're allowed back into the league. So you play for a team that gave you a contract before all this stuff happens. Your team wins the World Series and you're being honored and I guess celebrated as World Series MVP. But for the Home Run Derby, there are hundreds of players. like there's like, you're putting these guys literally on a pedestal. Like when they announce them, they put them on a literal pedestal and have the flames shooting up. And like, these are the guys that you're highlighting as like, hey, these are the big boppers in our game. And the All-Star game itself is the most watched All-Star game of any of the 4 sports. And the Home Run Derby is a fun event that I think a lot of people tune in for, even if you're a casual fan or maybe you're not a baseball fan at all, because there are no other sports going on at the time. And your Major League Baseball, you're putting him on a pedestal that you don't have to. Like the World Series is a pedestal in and of itself, but you have to earn it to be there. And we don't get to choose who goes to the World Series. We do choose who participates in the Home Run Derby. So all this says to me really is a lot of people must have said no, because they still have 2 spots open, and we're less than a week away from the Home Run Derby. We still don't even know the full field of who's participating. But Marcell Ozuna is participant number 5 of an 8-person field, and it's it is
right. Like if you were having no problem getting these dudes, he's not the guy that you're announcing 5th. You know what I mean? He's not a
No.
guy that you announce at all because he's not a participant. But again, I think you will, and I can understand. And when I say I can understand, that's me just trying to see it from multiple viewpoints. I can understand that there's going to be people who say, I don't care. That's in the past. That happened. He paid his dues. He served his punishment, whatever. Move on. The guy's a baseball player. He's hitting homers. How does he not deserve to be in the home run derby? And well, it's like, hey, we're talking about a league, an entity hand selecting this individual in the face of all of the baggage, especially when there's still conversations surrounding players who aren't in the league, who can see, who may never get back to the league for, I don't want to call them similar transgressions, but transgressions that are along the same line. Like Trevor Bauer's not going to pitch in Major League Baseball ever again, and Marcell Ozuna is going to the home run derby. And so Major League Baseball has drawn a line somewhere in, again, based on all the things that they know, not things that we think we know, based on everything that Major League Baseball knows, they have made a decision. And I know that I've heard a lot of people say, look, if that is indeed the case, then people are starting to ask, well, how bad could it have been with Bauer? If Marcell Ozuna is allowed to be in the home run derby and they've actually gone as far as to hand select this dude based on what they know, then shit, what do they know about the other dude? And I think that's a fair question, but I also think that it's a question that you might not have an answer to, where the answer could be as simple as, oh, you know what? Didn't even think about that. Like that could be a very real possibility as well. Like, oh, wow, that was an oversight. Didn't realize we do have this other guy with this going on. But at the same time, we're going to hand select this dude. Whoops. Didn't think about how that could go over.
Yeah, and not only are they hand selecting him, but there's a very good chance that
he could win.
Very good. Yeah, like he could win the thing, and then you have
then you're giving him a truck.
You have a PR backlash for selecting him, and then if he wins it, then you're talking about a whole nother backlash of people saying, this is the guy that you propped up.
Well, so, I mean, you've already seen it, and you think you're not. With every home run he hits, the tweets will go as follows: still not the thing he's made the hardest contact with.
Right.
Still not the thing he's hit the hardest. Still not. That's what's going to be flying with every ball that flies out of the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when you're Major League Baseball and you think about that, know that for a 3-minute period during your game's highlight, that's what's going to be discussed. That's what's going to be trending.
I think in a lot of ways, in terms of PR and stuff like that, or just managing that imagery type of stuff, that baseball is maybe the king of the unforced error. And this is an example of that as far as I'm concerned. It didn't need to happen. To Dallas's point, regardless of what your stance is on Marcell Ozuna, the conversation as he's participating will be as such for a decent percentage of people viewing it across social media or whatever. So just an unforced error didn't need to happen. And there have been plenty of people who have hit lots of home runs who have never been invited to a home run derby, and it's not a right of a Major League Baseball player to participate in a home run derby. So just didn't need to happen, really. Which is a shame too, because like the other side of this, which I was really happy to see, is that at the very least they've secured Witt and Gunnar Henderson, and to a lesser degree Jose Ramirez. I just like seeing Jose. He's a current star. He's been one of the best players in baseball over the better part of the last 7-8 years. But to get Gunnar and Bobby Witt Jr. as like two of the newer faces of baseball, sub Ohtani, I think is a really nice win for baseball. So to do that and then to kind of sully it with Ozuna's presence is again just unnecessary.
It almost feels like again, like the vibe when I walked into the Yankee clubhouse after Domingo Germán threw his perfect game. Yeah. Like his teammates and people were like, yeah, it's cool. If it would have been anybody else, it's a completely different vibe. A completely different vibe.
And you can't just stop a guy from throwing a perfect game, right? So like that's an example of what Jared's talking about with the World Series MVP, where it's like, well, yeah, but like, you know, it is game outcome based if he's allowed to participate in the game. This is another act of like, this is being very proactive. Obviously, they've invited him to participate.
Exactly. He didn't have to go and buy the Wonka bar. They showed up at his house and handed him the fucking golden ticket. He was like, oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, how many people had to say no is what I want to know.
Well, who like, let me ask you this. Is it going to be fair to say that the next 3 participants are going to be guys who've never hit 30 home runs in a year?
There's only 2 left. There's 6 guys in.
Okay, so 2 spots left.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Will either one of those guys have hit 30 home runs in a year in their career?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Yeah, because we're just not privy to the information of who has said no.
Yeah. Right.
No,
it's a tough. Yeah, you don't have those. That's why it's just, yeah. What do you think? Like, based on what we don't know, could there be somebody that they tab? Because I think that would kind of tell us. That's why I asked that question. Is if it's not a person that has ever hit 30 home runs in a season, then you got to believe that everybody that would be left that they have asked has said no.
So it might be the Pete Alonso rule, though, where like if you look at it, like Judge is too cool for the Derby, Ohtani's rehabbing, Gunnar Henderson's in, Marcell Ozuna's in, Jose Ramirez is in, and then the next 2 names are guys that were considered all-star snubs, Anthony Santander and Christian Walker. Like if those 2 guys weren't snubbed from the all-star game, or the guys that are in the home run derby, it's like, I believe they would both be first-time all-stars without looking. So it's like, hey, it's your first all-star game. Congratulations. We also, you know, you're top 10 in home runs right now. Would you like to participate in the home run derby? And they're like, fuck yeah. So it's like, it's a matter of asking those who are going to the all-star game, because we talked about this last episode, where, you know, if you're selected to the all-star team, sure, yeah, I'll do the derby. I'm going to be there anyway. Might as well make the most of it. Versus, hey, you're having an all-star worthy season, but you're not on the all-star team. But do you want to save our home run gimmick tournament? Do you want to go out there and just swing your ass off and exert all this energy and cancel your vacation that you had planned? You want to do that for 0 extra money? Do you want to do that? And when you look at some of these contracts, there are incentives based on all-star selections, silver sluggers, Cy Youngs, etc. I've never seen a home run derby clause in a contract. Hey, we'll give you a $250,000 bonus if you're selected to the home run derby, and if you win it, that's a $800K bonus in your contract. Teams don't give a fuck about that. They care about all-star selections. So that's why I don't mind Pete Alonso leveraging the whole I'll do it if I'm an all-star, and like, all right, fine, you're on the team. Like we need Pete Alonso on the derby. Fine.
It all just goes back to the conversation about how the all-star selection goes down and why, you know, you're going to have 2 camps. People who, if I vote for my favorite player enough and other people do too, then he needs to be in the all-star game as, you know, just because, as opposed to guys having earned it. And it's because of the earning power that comes along with your resume as you start to become a 2-time, 3-time, 4-time all-star. Because obviously you've had some seasons in there that have probably garnered a silver slugger, or at least you've been in that conversation. So when you have all-star selections tied to compensation to the extent that they are, it does matter. It absolutely does matter. But that's why we've said what we've said about the home run derby, is being paid to do that is probably a starting point. They've fattened it by, you know, giving away they give away? Car, truck, or something to the winner?
I think so.
Or is that just the MVP?
I think I saw you get something. I mean, you obviously get $1 million.
Yeah.
But you also, I think, get Truck,
I mean,
maybe?
it was Shane Bieber who won the truck that he still hasn't given to us.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Padre Beebs got that one.
Yeah. But I mean, if the because you're not getting the rest of the home run leaders. Like, you're not getting Bryce Harper, you're not getting Juan Soto, you're not getting Rafael Devers. So the last two is some combination of like someone dropping out of the All-Star game, and here comes Anthony Santander or Christian Walker. Like, you're not getting Stanton.
Well, that's what I thought was going to happen when Rafi Devers was like, nah, can't do it. Oh, sweet. Brent Rooker, enter Brent Rooker. He'll be in the home run derby. Brent Rooker could fuck around and win the home run derby. But Jordan Westburg was named. Mm-hmm. So Brent Rooker is not going as of right now. That could change, because I tell you right now, if Brent Rooker goes to the All-Star game, Brent Rooker goes into the home run derby. And if Brent Rooker goes into the home run derby, I got Brent Rooker winning the home run derby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, like Jordan, I'm assuming he said no. He's been selected to the All-Star team and hasn't been announced for the Derby, so I'm assuming that that's a no. Kyle Tucker's hurt. Teoscar Hernandez not an All-Star. Harper just got activated. Soto's too cool for it. I mean, does Josh Naylor? Does Josh Naylor do it for you in the Derby?
Well, I think he does if he's fucking running through walls and throwing shit after the homers he hits. Yeah. I think people would be excited about it.
I think he would have the potential to put on an underrated show. I don't think Josh Naylor getting named as one of the final people changes the overall sex appeal of the of the grouping.
And it's another Cleveland Guardian. It's two Guardians in the Derby.
Well, you want as many of those as possible, but I understand where you're coming from.
For sure. Oh, well, they don't have the wind tunnel in Texas, but
good one, Joey.
Yeah, there's no one left that we can assume hasn't already been asked. They would be like, man, that'd be fucking cool. Adolis Garcia, but again, it's not like an all-star. He's hitting 215.
Not worthy. See, and that's the other thing is,
but he might already be there.
Yeah, but you can't just like that. That's where the integrity of the selection. Like, okay,
yeah, but
cool,
he's not going to make the All-Star. I'm not saying make the All-Star team, but if you have him in the Derby,
yeah, but like, what is it that you have done to earn this? To earn to be here?
He's hit 17 home runs.
You said yes.
Right, that's the extent of it. You are willing. That's why you're here.
He's hit 17 home runs. That's one fewer than Brent Rooker, who you said could win the whole thing.
Because I just don't want it to. I don't want it to get to a point, and I think we're getting close to that, where the home run derby is a nuisance to guys, and is something that is. I mean, and we know this. It's purely marketed for television and purely marketed as a revenue generating stream. But if we start getting to the point where we're like 3 days away and we're just fucking throwing out invites to anybody who will take them, like that starts to water it down. And
if we got Paul DeYoung in the home run derby this year,
right,
that's when you know it's time to
like when we start putting Stephen Kwan in the conversation of guys, oh, it's been a great year, power, but we need to see him in the like, calm down.
Like it.
Yeah. Taylor Ward in the home run derby.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not clamoring for Brandon Marsh to be in the home run derby, are you even a fan of the derby?
Here comes Ryan Jeffers. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I would love to, if any of you guys between now and tomorrow have any anonymous sources that want to speak with the protection of anonymity on the behind the scenes of the derby, I would love to hear what's going on. I would love to see if they're like scrambling right now, or if they're like, no, we have it figured out. We've got like 10 yeses and we're kind of sifting through who we want to put in it. And it's like, well,
no, you're not.
No, you're not yet.
No, they'd be marketing that like a motherfucker right now.
Yeah. Like we're having a home run derby to determine the home run derby, right?
Yeah.
I think the whispers that I'm hearing are backing up what we've been saying.
Okay. Well, if you want to go to this home run derby, where there's still 2 spots open, our spots are filled, by the way. We have 8 participants in ours.
Yeah, are these tickets to get into the derby or to like participate?
That's what I'm saying. Either way, you want to download the Game Time app. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer that it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The All-Star Game is on Tuesday of next week. The Home Run Derby, of course, is Monday. It is double Home Run Derby day because we have our wiffle ball Home Run Derby during the day, then the MLB Home Run Derby at night, where we will be kind of running around in the outfield. If you're at the Derby, we'll be there, but we have tickets to get in, but we're probably not going to be sitting anywhere.
No. I plan on tracking down nukes.
Have you ever got a home run derby ball before, Dallas?
I'm trying to. No, we didn't get one.
Just say no so I can say yes.
No, I have not gotten one. I was
Jay,
trying to think of
you
what
got a
happened
home
in
run derby
Cleveland
ball?
where we saw
yeah.
Rosie. Is that the one where you almost got hit in the head, Jay? Hey?
No, I didn't get that ball. And that was technically the All-Star game. That was Prince Fielder in the All-Star game.
That sweet young lady is flailing out there in the outfield.
Yeah,
it's Jay.
Joe Buck just called that woman a man. Was the Twitter response. Most surprised man in America. Yeah.
Wait, is that real life?
Okay, so quick aside. 2012
fucking great.
Was the first All-Star game that I ever went to for work, and we were at the.
Was that Chase Field?
It was Chase Field, and we were told that we were allowed by security or whatever. We were watching inside the stadium at the All-Star game, and we were told that we were able to go down to this camera well that was like kind of in left center at Chase Field, and turns out, we were not really allowed to be there. Found that out later. But more notably, Prince Fielder hit the decisive home run in that game to left center. And there was video of the ball bouncing like right in front of us on like the cement wall after the wall, and then bouncing up and hitting a back wall behind us and then bouncing back over. And there's just this awful video, slow-mo of like me, like all of us missing the ball, including me, and Joe Buck on the call of the home run for the All-Star game said he just hit that ball over the head of the most surprised man in America. And because of how I looked, and at the time I had really long hair, and the Twitter reaction was largely Joe Buck just called that woman a man. Apology forthcoming. So that we had a good time with that.
You okay, lady?
But
that was the All-Star game?
That was the All-Star game. The actual home run, what I was going to say originally, the Derby ball I got was in San Diego, and it was Robinson Cano. And I gave it to my mother-in-law, who was, it still is a Yankees fan, obviously. But yeah, that was the one I got. It was hit to like dead center, and we were standing out there, and I got it.
I mean, I never knew about this.
Well, yeah, you can't see. There is no video of the of the Derby, ball acquisition. But I could pull up the YouTube clip. It gets posted.
I'm just gonna have fun. Oh, that's well hit. Crushed. And just like that, it's 3-1 National League.
Joe, I think that ball hit the top of the wall, and it hit that yellow line that runs just above the Geico sign in left center field, about 420 feet away. from home plate.
Wow. How about the power the other way by Prince Fielder?
My gosh, you talked about him being a low ball hitter earlier. That pitch was up just above the belt, it appeared.
No, it's not going to say it. I need like the extended version, I guess.
Yeah. I'll find it for us before the end of the pod.
Okay. Yeah, text it to me. I'll play it. Damn. I mean, I can kind of see, like, when I'm playing it here on my laptop, I can definitely see the area that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. There's like a group of like 4 of us out there in like various positions as the ball's getting hit over our head. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like grabbing your head. Like, it's...
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I at first I thought I was going to be able to catch the ball, and then it bounced in a way that obviously prevented that and just made me look like an asshole. And then we were exposed for being in an area that we were told we could be in, but we're not. So
Did you guys have to move after that?
I think we moved very quickly after that. And I also had to, I also awaited a conversation with like my boss's boss's boss that I thought was going to end. I was like nervous that I was going to lose my job at one point. Like I was not,
What?
I was new there. Like we were, you know, caught on national TV in a place with it. Again, we didn't know we weren't supposed to be, but we were not supposed to be there. And so that concern ended up being pretty silly in hindsight, but I didn't know that at the time. So I was very nervous.
Well, I feel like you can be a nervous guy sometimes. You need to chill out.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
You can be a nervous guy, Jay. Jay makes me nervous.
Yeah. It's very funny. Like his reaction, it looks like a concussion grenade just went off.
I got to find the clip.
It's very easy to find. Just Prince Fielder All-Star Game home run comes right up. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys. I don't know when this is from, but I came across this video on TikTok the other day.
No God.
I think it's recent. Lenny Dykstra and Mitch Williams. Have you seen this video?
Oh my God.
It's new or like reasonably new?
I think. I don't know. I've never seen it before.
I know they've had a beef, but I don't know anything new about it.
They were had like, a beef for a while.
Yeah. Like they were at like a fan fest or something, and it just turned into this awkward back and forth.
Yes. Like Mitch Williams asking questions or answering questions or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's old. That is years old.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna play it anyway because I saw this for the first time the other day. So I'm sure if you're a Phillies fan, you're familiar with it. But the clip is fucking like, imagine being at your team's like fan fest and then 2 of the most prominent names in recent memory in your franchise's history just start bickering at each other like a married couple. That's what happened here with Lenny Dykstra and Mitch Williams.
Water?
For one time in your life, in front of God and everybody, tell them why you were so upset I gave up a home run to lose the World Series.
I wasn't upset about you. I mean...
Because you didn't get the MVP. Do you think I tried less hard?
Okay, this is how fucking stupid this guy is. No, I mean, really. Like...
Dude,
you think I give a fuck about the MVP?
Yes!
No.
I know
you. Know what
you.
I give a fuck about? One thing. Anybody that played with me knows how the game works. You don't even know the fucking rules, dude.
I don't know the rules.
So, yeah, remember, hold on.
Quiz on the rules.
Remember, dude, when we have a 3-run lead in the 9th and we get that insurance run, and so we get a 4-run lead, and it would take you out of a safe situation, wouldn't it? And you'd come in the clubhouse pissed off. You literally would come in the clubhouse pissed off because we fucking got an insurance run and you didn't get the fucking crew saved. And by the way, do you know how many fucking more drugs you made me take to fucking to keep up with that shit? And everybody take. I mean, Hold on.
All you're doing is making yourself look more stupid.
You made prison was like a fucking fantasy camp playing behind me. Playing you, dude.
Prison.
Let me keep going.
Let me keep going. Please do.
Yeah, please keep going.
Because here's the deal. The numbers don't lie. How the fuck can somebody get fired gets hired by a Major League Baseball network for a fucking dream job, who somehow masqueraded through the interview? I don't know how he got through it. But hold on, doesn't matter.
English.
But what does matter is you found a way to fuck that up. It's like you found a way to fuck up the World Series. What haven't you fucked up? What haven't you fucked up?
Okay.
I just want to know what you haven't fucked up.
Okay.
Stop the slinging. Just go the fuck outside.
Shut up, man.
Would you like me to answer that, Lenny?
No. So here we go.
I have 5 kids that I have never stolen $1 from.
Look.
Now, do you want to start talking about
what's the kid? Where's the kids? What's the kids got to do with anything? Why do you bring the kids into it?
Why?
This is business.
I didn't steal my son's signing bonus. I didn't rob my mother.
We don't know the facts.
I mean, that is just all time.
I love that because it's like 95% Lenny Dykstra just pounding Mitch's head on the pavement. And then at the end, it's just like, you stole money from your kids and your mother, you stupid piece of shit. It's like, it's like, oh, that's right. It's Lenny Dykstra. Right. Yeah. I forgot for a second.
That whole part of it, Jay, is like, could you imagine being undressed like that by Lenny Dykstra? Right. And you're just like, I'm not fucking taking this from Lenny like that. I have entirely too much ammo to unload on my end if this fucking guy's going down that road.
It's the classic fight where both guys can't get punched enough. You know, like you just like, it's okay to see both of them just totally fucking ragged at the end because it's like, who get like obviously Lenny Dykstra is a scumbag and Mitch Williams is just a moron. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. That is who is that?
Had you guys heard that before or no?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not in its entirety, certainly. If I'd heard clips, I'd forgotten about it. That's great.
Because remember when Lenny was like on Twitter, like for this was years ago, but for like the first time, like he was broadcasting a lot of the shit that he was going through on and off the field and, you know, rehab and blah, blah, blah. I had one of his guys reach out to me, like trying to promote the book or whatever that he was doing and wanted to get him on our podcast. And yeah, so this was a while ago.
Yeah, this was like 10 years ago at like a sports roast.
Yeah.
Like it was supposed to be a roast.
Yeah.
But
I'm
those
surprised
guys
you just now come across that.
Yeah, never seen that before. But yeah, the whole thing about like Mitch Williams getting fired from MLB Network, I guess that was like he was coaching his kids' tournament and they fired him for like swearing or something at the umpires.
I think he was throwing at a little kid. Not him throwing at a little kid. No, yeah, I think it was a big issue.
I remember that.
Yeah, Mitch Williams is losing his mind on an umpire at a Little League game or whatever.
Yeah, can't do that.
No,
can't do it.
It's funny because I watch older, retired ball players who have kids now who are coaching travel leagues and stuff. And they have arguments because of the way that a lot of these entities, these travel ball entities, run things, the way they do things. A lot of these guys have legitimate complaints, legitimate gripes. And it does suck to see these big leaguers, retired big leaguers, who are trying to do everything right for the kids, are getting met with, oh, well, so what? From like travel ball dads and people who don't understand how things are supposed to go. Like there's no etiquette involved. There's just it feels like there's no integrity. There's no much mutual respect back and forth with the whole setup. So you've got these big leaguers who are trying to do things, and maybe to their fault at times, on a big league scale. And you can't really expect that everywhere you go, but you do expect something. Like I just saw a video of fucking Cameron Maben, I think, is hand dragging a field. And when I say hand dragging, I mean he's holding the metal drag that you would attach to the tractor, and he's dragging the infield because the game that he's playing in the tournament that he's a part of, that he's paid thousands of dollars to get his team into, doesn't have a fucking trainer present, doesn't have anything like that available, like nobody to take care of the field. Like it is a shit show.
Whew. Well, I hope that there are listeners out there that just heard that for the first time like me. Because what a thrill.
That's funny.
Do you remember when Lenny Dykstra came into the Barstool office one day because like he got a DM from like a fake like Dave Portnoy account and thought that it was really Dave telling him to come into the office, and he just showed up like all strung out, it was fucking weird. It's very strange.
I mean, I never went to the office, so no, I went to the office one time.
No, that can't be true.
One time. Once. The first time.
It was in 2018.
We killed it, dude.
Yeah,
Killed it.
Sick. Good times. Tyler Glasnow to the injured list.
I'm calling Phantom. I'm calling Phantom.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know anything, but I'm just calling it.
What makes you say that?
Probably some monitoring of the old innings. It's not like Glasnow's been a 200 inning horse. They absolutely need him more now than they probably did when they started the season. And yeah, I don't. Maybe he's really got back issues. I have no idea. I guess we'll find out shortly after the All-Star break.
10 earned runs in his last 2 starts.
It would seem to line up pretty nicely, though.
Yeah, have an extended.
And they don't seem to have any immediate
extended All-Star break.
And no immediate concerns within the division. They're 7.5 games up on the Padres.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see. If it's a real injury, it's like it lingers, that's obviously a huge problem because the rest of their rotation, other than Gavin Stone, is really not delivering on a level that this team needs, as we've discussed before. And Bobby Miller was terrible again.
Not good
last night. Yeah.
This Jay Hay sent me the YouTube video
if that's the
of
case.
the Prince Fielder home run.
I'm not a liar.
The most surprised man in America.
Yeah, I didn't want to seem like some sort of story creating glory hog. I had to find the YouTube clip where he actually said it. So
no,
you can confirm he said it.
He said it.
He's off the top of the wall on left center. Yeah, I think it hit that yellow line in left center field. Right there. And then out. And then over the head of the most surprised man in America.
Most surprised man in America, our very own Justin Havens.
How far I've come. A mere 12 years later, here we are.
Yeah,
getting ready to go to Arlington.
Yeah. Yep, for another All-Star game to redeem himself.
Yeah, I was back. I've been back since 2012, but yeah, I would love to redeem myself. Yeah.
If another ball is hitting your direction, which is what we're kind of like storm chasers.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, we were at the All-Star game in Cleveland running around in right field when Vladdy was just hitting laser beams over there. Never did get a ball, but I feel like if we were ever going to get one, that was our greatest opportunity.
Are you guys bringing gloves? Or do you have to catch them with your bare hands?
I don't know. Dallas, defer to you on that.
I'm probably gonna go bare hand.
Wow,
bare
you're
hand.
such a fucking badass, dude.
Probably gonna go bare hand. Yeah, I want to be able to reach and grab. Glove. Honestly, because I could just use one arm to post up on, and then whoop whoop.
We should probably be bringing gloves anyway, so we can have a catch in the backyard. during slow times.
I would play catch with you. I would not have a catch with you.
I would love to have a catch with you.
I'm more than willing to play catch.
Oh, you're a have a catch guy, Jay Hay?
Yeah, let's have one.
You're a have a catch guy?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the right part of the country, and
no.
Oh, wow.
Have a catch.
See us going political here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a battleground state now, but
you're a have a catch guy?
Have a catch. That's
Jake, what are you? Play catch or have a catch?
You got to play catch.
You play catch.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you're I don't know, a dork.
I don't know, maybe a dork.
I don't know. That's something that somebody who has a catch would say.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have one. We're going to have a few, I think, when we're out there. So we should bring our gloves. That would be good. That would be good ambient B-roll for our vlogs, is just, people having catches over the course of
I don't know that I could ever play catch with you because
4 or 5 weeks that we're there.
I don't want people thinking that you and I have had a catch together. I want people to know that we've played catch together, but you're going to tell people that we've had a catch together.
Well, we can do this. We can do this bit while we're having the catch. We can be like, "Oh, it's play catch," and it's like, "Oh, yeah, I know it's play catch, but it's actually I have a catch," and it's like, you can have fun with it,
because we'd be playing in the moment. We wouldn't be having anything.
Right.
You might be playing. I'll be having.
Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber have been activated, and Trea Turner went off.
Yes, he did
against his former team. Grand slam.
Oh,
against the Dodgers. I went back and looked at the numbers.
Feel so good about my fantasy team.
Since Trea Turner became a Philly, he has 30 plate appearances against the Dodgers. It's a .414 batting average, a .433 on base, a .690 slug. That's an 1123 OPS, 12 hits in 29 at-bats, 8 singles, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. He's scored 7 runs, driven in 6, walked once, stolen a base, 4 extra base hits, 20 total bases.
That boy good.
Former club. Yeah, and in those years, I mean, the Dodgers have not really replaced him, right?
No, not at all. No. I mean, think about what they've done. They've taken their Gold Glove right fielder and planted him at shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've taken their backup defender, the guy who's supposed to be able to spell some guys, and now he's getting the regular run. Like, you got a 35-year-old shortstop. You went from Trea Turner to Miguel Rojas. And that's not a knock on Miguel Rojas. It's just clear that he's not Trea Turner.
That way.
Oh, I love Miggy. I love me some Miggy.
By the way, quick little nug here on Trea Turner. That was his third 4 RBI game of the season. And in fact, I believe all of them have happened in the last week. And he's the first Philly shortstop to have 3 or more 4 RBI games in the same season since J-Roll in 2006. 18 years. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you get those dudes back.
Are the Phillies the team to beat right now, like World Series wise?
I think so. With the offense doing what it's doing and what they're able to get done on the mound. Yeah.
I mean, for a while it was looking like Phillies Yankees, and now the Yankees might be lucky to even make the playoffs. The Phillies haven't really had that rut.
No, there hasn't been that big, huge lull in their season where they've lost, 8 out of 10 or whatever it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, they're also at 82% to win the division. So other than, I believe that's the second highest rate in the league. Yeah, only the Dodgers have a higher percentage. So in the sense that we can kind of earmark them for a division title, which obviously helps their percentage chances above and beyond being a wild card spot. I do think they have to be considered the favorites.
Yeah. Bro, they got 3 right? 3 dudes in that rotation with an ERA under 3.
Yeah, and that doesn't include Nola, right?
Yeah. Nola's at like a 3.5.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Snub, by the way. Nola is not even was not selected to the All-Star team.
Yeah,
Damn
well,
well
again, that
should
could
be.
change. That could all change.
And it could change. Yeah, you're right. The Red Sox have made up 10.5 games in the Yankees, by the way, since that series that they played at Fenway. What was that, June 15th? June 15th. They've made up 10.5 games. That's fucking crazy.
Time for them to buy. Buy.
Bye. Call up your boy Breslow. Do you have his number, Dallas?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, call him and say, hey, can you fucking do something?
It's a
Can
good
you
idea.
earn that paycheck, brother?
I think
All
I'm
he
gonna see
does
him.
is go around talking about how he used to play baseball. That's it.
I think I'm going to see him today.
Tell him. Be like, can you fucking pick a lane and have that lane be buying?
I mean,
I could tell him. I mean, you know what I did find interesting? And this, I think this came out, like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I was going to tweet it. I didn't want to be the guy, oh, Dallas talking shit, stirring it up. But I found it really interesting that the Red Sox, even as much success as they've been having here as of late, still sort of undecided on whether or not they want to go to the playoffs. Like they were showing some strong interest in potentially participating in the playoffs, which is right up their alley. I was really excited to hear that. Like, man, Kings of Interest are still on track. They're thinking about the postseason, whether or not they'd like to be there. We still feel that way. It sounds like you're still feeling that way. It sounds like the Red Sox still feel like, hey, why aren't we being supplemented? Why are we not having an injection of life? What's going on?
That's what's going to cost them their manager at the end of the year. He doesn't want to hear about that bullshit and how the front office is just like, all right, yeah, like we see the play on the field. That's great and all, but the projections say that we have a 44% chance of making the playoffs. We don't like those odds.
To me, like, I mean, I know that they're up to 50 now. And to me, if we're talking about Fangraphs, it would be unforgivable to me if the Red Sox don't make acquisitions to help bolster this roster in pursuit of a playoff appearance this season. Both unforgivable within the context of the goodwill that's already been lost among the fan base for the behavior of the offseason leading into this season, and also like they're the Boston Red Sox. Like if you are 10 games over 500 and you have a direct path to the postseason, you should be trading some level of prospect equity to supplement the current roster. That doesn't mean you're trading the next core that's gotten so much attention. It doesn't mean that you're trading a significant piece of the current 2024 roster, but it does mean that when they have, depending on what you look at, they have a top whatever farm system in baseball, they can spare some level of prospect depth to go out and make this team better. This isn't a small market team. This is the Boston Red Sox. And like this team is proving to be a playoff caliber team in 2024.
Isn't that where this disconnect comes from, though? Isn't that what we're experiencing right now? Is fans know this, Jay? Boston Red Sox fans, baseball fans in general. I think any fan of a team in baseball, should their team be up 10 games, you'd like to think is more than willing to entertain what it takes to continue this run and what it takes to bolster our chances come October. But isn't this sort of speaking to what the ownership group, or I guess the evolution of the ownership group, where it has felt like at times it's not a matter of being interested. It's we're just really not as connected to what's going on with the Red Sox as we have been in years past, where like if you were to rewind 10 years ago and have the Red Sox up 10 games or plus 500, 10 games over 500, as we're talking about with a route to the postseason, aren't they making moves? Aren't they having these conversations? And now they're not.
I'll defer to Jared and Jake on this ultimately, of course, but like to me, there's a difference between not wanting to spend $200 million on a free agent acquisition in the offseason for a team that you don't believe is playoff caliber, okay, than it is to refuse to upgrade a team that is 50-40 through 90 games, currently in possession of a postseason spot, when we're not talking about adding to a $200 million contract to the books. We're talking about adding incremental amounts of 2024 payroll to the books that probably will or may come off next season anyway. Like, this is not a lavish expenditure. This is make this team that is better than you thought it was going to be, and certainly better than I thought it was going to be too. I'm not like pointing fingers in that regard, but we're now 90 games into a season, and the math has changed on the 2024 Boston Red Sox from where it was in February, March, or April. The decision-making has to follow.
Well, is there any thought, though, that the decision-making or the mindset that we took going into this season, if we're the Red Sox in the front office, that says we're not going to be making that big splashy $200 million acquisition because we don't think that's going to impact us enough based on the group we have here. And so now at this point, you've had them sitting back going, okay, well, yeah, it's a nice little surprise, but remember, we didn't think that they were going to be doing this anyway. And I'm not about, and this is where they move the goalpost back a little. This is where they say, so I'm not about to get crazy here and start wheeling and dealing for a team who's played outside of who they are. Well, we'll see. Like, is there any thought to this ownership group and their mindset now getting to a place that says, nope, I'll wait till this plays out and then I'll be the one who told you I told you so at the end. This is why we didn't do what we did in the free agency, is because we knew that this was going to be the case.
If that's the mindset and behavior of this team, then no Boston Red Sox fan, or of ownership, then no Boston Red Sox fan should ever invest anything in the team again moving forward. This is unforgivable if they don't make this team better. They're the Boston Red Sox. It's not the Tampa Bay Rays who at 50-40 and third in their own division with a 50% playoff odds are like, well, we need to balance the needs of today with the needs of 3 or 4 years from now. And we can't trade this B+ prospect because that's going to be a depth filler for our rotation. Boston doesn't need to operate that way. And if you're going to operate that way in the offseason, that's one thing. If you're going to pinch pennies and fundamentally not believe in the team that's on the field, 90 games, so fucking whatever, 60%, 58% of the way into the baseball season, if you're not going to believe when you're in possession of a postseason spot, then literally what is the point? What is the point? I'm not arguing with you that the Red Sox ownership may end up behaving this way. I'm saying that if that's the way that it goes, then really, truly, what are we doing here?
Well,
like,
we're asking,
what is the point?
I know. And I'm asking that question, Jay, because let me peel.
Am I off? Jake and Jared, am I off here?
You're not off. No, you're not off at all. You're not off at all. That's why we're having this conversation, is because this is stuff that I think should be said, should be talked about, because hearing it from Jared or hearing it from Jake, there's always going to be a level of bias attached to what they're saying. And so I think it's nice to, what's that?
That's not true.
Oh, no, not true at all. So what I think is nice is to have the perspective that we have, because I know what it's like to play for, be a part of an organization who looks at things very differently than a lot of other folks, than their fan bases. And it does seem like what the Red Sox fans have been clamoring about over the last few years, maybe even 5 or so, is there's been a palpable lack of interest in the progress of this team. There's been a palpable lack of interest in building for the future. Why are we making moves to keep us under the payroll, and we're moving guys to keep us under? Well, like, the Red Sox got rid of Mookie Betts. That was just not something that we thought the Red Sox would be doing.
Okay, but that's fine. But that's a fucking like luxury tax thing, right? That's a payroll threshold thing. And I don't agree with it. I'm not going to relitigate it. I think that was crazy. But like, this is adding $4, $5, $8 million to one season's payroll to make your playoff team better and more viable on a market that is thirsty for playoff baseball, that should act like a team that belongs in the postseason and isn't there in the picture incidentally, right? Like, it's just, I truly, truly don't understand. Like Craig Breslow, like, I get it, he played, I didn't, but like him pointing to the playoff probabilities and saying we're trying to figure out which lane we're in at 50%. The lane has been spoken for. And that's the point at which, and Fangraphs themselves has an article by Zimborski about this exact point. That's exactly the point in the standings where teams benefit the most from an extra win 2 or 3. The Red Sox are right there. He ran the math. No team in baseball would benefit more from 2 additional wins acquired via an external source than the Boston Red Sox right now. Fucking facts. That's just math. And even if you disagree and they're 3rd or 4th, it's like, okay, so they're the 3rd most beneficial from 2 wins out of 30 teams. It's like, well, then they should be doing that too. It's like,
and I really do truly believe, Jay, that the opening of the postseason bracket, the way it looks now, has gotten teams in this mindset. This is how we get here, right here, is you have these conversations. And so ultimately we're talking about 2 wins. And so you're sitting in a room going, all right, are the prospects we have to get rid of worth those 2 wins? Is the money that we're going to have to spend worth those 2 wins? Or are you trying to tell me right here, right now, Alex Cora, that the players we have in this room can't generate those 2 wins? We can't find those 2 wins with guys in this room. And that's coming from the financial perspective that says, I don't know if we want to part ways with prospect equity, and I don't know that we want to write this check. That's
that
where
entire line of thinking. That entire line of thinking is embarrassing for the Red Sox organization to be entertaining. That is my bottom line point, is that a team like this should not be thinking with that sort of mentality with a playoff opportunity on the line. And last thing, sorry if this is too much, but like the AL standings in particular are opening up in a way that it's not the NL. Like, we really could end up seeing, I think, more sellers than we had anticipated a week or 2 ago. You're starting to see comments and quotes come out of places like Texas, right? And Toronto and Detroit, where it's like, well, we're probably not realistically playoff teams this year. And if those teams start to put people on the market instead of, kind of just the White Sox and the Angels and the fucking Marlins of the world selling, then that could change the playoff picture and could allow for opportunities for teams that are even prospect hoarding like the Red Sox to go out and make meaningful upgrades to their team. So I'm just like, do it. It has to be done. Sorry.
Jake, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that Boston fans have completely flipped on this team in the last 3 weeks, and the only way to piss them off even more would be to have the players and the manager go out there and work their dicks off to get the fans back into this team, and then have ownership come across the top and be like, we still don't believe. So it's going to be tough times in Boston if they either sell or don't buy.
And you're presumably, based on all the reporting, at some point getting back the best offensive player on the team, right? And this team's already 10 games above 500 without Cassis playing. So, like, I just think there's so many reasons to be optimistic, and it's the stickiness of their improved play in the rotation has persisted long enough, and you've gotten breakout performances from enough meaningful, like, young or young-ish players on the team that are intended to be part of the core moving forward, right? Like, you already knew the first baseman was good, so now you have Houck. You have Jaron Duran, who has obviously leveled up, as we've talked about on this podcast, and you guys have talked about on Section 10. Like, there's core players, and that's like, and like even guys like Rafaelo. Like, I didn't have any expectations for what he would be bringing in 2024 entering the season, and his entire package of play has made him a very valuable player. And I know they got him locked up long term. Like,
him being able to do what he's done over at shortstop has given Jaron Duran the opportunity to grow into the player that he's growing into, and I think that is extremely helpful. Something I think about too is, I know who Craig Breslow is. I know who Alex Cora is. I know what Alex Cora has meant to this club. I watch the culture that he has create show its face around every corner, from the way they start to do their infield drills to the way they wrap up doing their infield drills. BP, everything in between. I watch it, and I wonder if this isn't necessarily, I don't want to call it an audition, but if this isn't almost a test to see how these two individuals are able to operate together, and whether or not this is an effort / an audition of sorts to either keep Alex Cora around, and I'm saying audition like
Cora's gone.
Cora is absolutely going to take every bit of interest and play that and create leverage.
He is gone. He's not coming back.
Not happening at all.
No.
So then what would it matter? At that point, aren't you? So this is just a holdover.
He's just honoring his contract at this point. Yeah. I think he's making the most of it. If you watch the video of him in the clubhouse when they announced the All-Stars, like he's very close with this group.
So that's
right now, the way that it exists is like the Red Sox clubhouse is it's like they are in space. They're in the space shuttle that's orbiting the moon, and the front office is NASA on the ground. It's like we are not even fucking close to being connected to each other. You're doing what you want to do on the ground, but fucking Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis up here, like we're handling this asteroid on our own. Like that's the Red Sox organization in my eyes right now.
Dallas, I don't know who you were talking about, but when you said like what's the point or whatever, Alex Cora has never had more incentive to put a winning product on the field than he has right now. Like this is literally
I'm talking about from the front office perspective, like, go like working with this dude. So then like, what's the point? If this guy's going to be gone, then what's the,
I mean,
because I'm talking about, when I talk about the culture and stuff, Jay, like that's, if everything that you just said, Jared, is why Alex Cora matters as much as he does, because if he is then gone, who's on that asteroid? Who's on that asteroid? It's the Red Sox and
a good young team.
Yeah, for sure.
But they don't have their Bruce
around
Willis,
every
though.
corner. Around every corner Alex Cora is the lighthouse in that clubhouse. He is the one, right? So where does Rafi Devers look to Alex Cora? Where does Jarren Duran look to Alex Cora? Where does Tanner Houck look to Alex Cora? Where do these guys look to the manager? So when that dude is gone now, and you're a front office who didn't make an effort to supplement your club, we don't know that that's the case because we still got about 2 weeks left. And then you don't have that leader for your young group to go to. Do you realize what situation you're in now? Because the culture that was there because of Alex Cora, gone. And you're hoping that it's just going to live on through the Jarren Durans, through the Devers, right? You hope that that's what maintains that level of energy. But to think that that guy is going to be removed and it's really the only thing keeping you tethered to NASA, hundreds of millions of miles away in space, like, fuck, man, that's scary. That's a really scary thought. As confident and as good as that young group is, Alex Cora plays a pivotal role in their success. Pivotal.
Yep.
He also just saw Craig Counsell get $40 million. He's got a higher career winning percentage, a World Series championship, and like more than double the career playoff wins that Craig Counsell has. So I'm imagining that he's looking at for him payday for himself that Red Sox haven't been willing to give even players.
So are you saying, Jay? Are you saying Aaron Boone is out, Alex Cora is in?
Wow. I am not saying that. I'm not saying that. You might be, though.
Well, I think he wants to go to the Phils, but obviously I don't know that opening is going to be around. Maybe he takes a year off. I don't know. I could see that as well. Blake Snell returned, and he did not suck. 5 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 3 walks. Don't love that. 3 strikeouts. Very un-Blake Snell-like. 73 pitches, 45 strikes. Did either of you get to see Blake Snell's performance last night?
No, but what that outing tells me through the 5 innings and the 73 pitches?
Yep.
That's about as efficient as you could be. 15 per inning, not a ton of swing and miss. You saw it last night, Jared. What comes with a bunch of swing and miss is a high pitch count. So for him to be able to get through that healthy.
Especially with 3 walks.
that's, yeah. Because, I mean, think about it. 3 walks. And I always say this. If you were to count for each walk as just a 4-pitch at bat, then right there, that's 12 pitches. We're just 3 away from another inning's worth of work. And when you look at his efficiency, it was about 15 pitches per inning. So Chris Sale minus those, or not Chris Sale, what's called minus those 3 walks, could have very well gotten deeper. Blake Snell.
I mean, it's crazy how quickly the standards change on a reigning Cy Young winner. But I think anything that was better than a disaster for Snell has to be considered a win. And 5 innings of 1-hit ball, you know, even if it's still not featuring the swing and miss that prime Blake Snell would be bringing, and it was against a particularly crappy offense, I do think you just have to take the win in his first start in a month plus coming off the IL. So, you know, we'll see if he can salvage the season from a rest of the season perspective. But yeah, it's just
what the fuck?
It's just wild how much different he is than even last season.
Crazy. Did you see someone reached out about how we said we want to put our podcast out in Japanese to tap into that market? That someone from Japan was like, I'm from Japan and I started listening to Baseball is Dead after the World Baseball Classic.
Huh. I didn't see that, but that's cool.
Yeah. Bye, Dallas.
Dallas is fucking amazed.
Yeah. Like, I'm out of here.
He said enough.
Yeah, he's good. That was all I have anyway, because the last item that I had was Lenny Dykstra versus Mitch Williams, but I'm
glad we got to that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bumped that up.
We've had some great old YouTube clips in this segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can do some nugs
please do.
while we maybe half wait for Dallas to return.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yusei Kikuchi, one of the more readily available starting pitchers, I would imagine, on the trade market. Last night delivered exactly the sort of start that the Blue Jays were probably hoping for. 5th pitcher, this was against Snell, 5th pitcher in Blue Jays franchise history to have a start of 13 or more strikeouts and 0 walks, joining Roger Clemens, who did so in both 97 and 98, Robbie Ray in 21, Barrios in 22, and Gausman in 23. So they've had at least one of these starts in 4 straight seasons, which is kind of crazy. He's also the 4th pitcher to have such a start this season in Major League Baseball. So we've been racking these up at a pretty healthy clip. Carlos Rodon, who some people made me apologize for pointing out that he was pitching way above his underlying statistics earlier in the season. Hey, how's that going? I don't know. How's it going now? First 14 starts, 2.93 ERA and 11 homers allowed. Over his last 5 starts, he has a 10.56 ERA and 8 homers allowed. His disintegration, I know it's not under the radar for Yankees fans, but for as much attention as some of these other guys have gotten, Carlos Rodon has just completely fucking melted down during this Yankees descent down the standings. Jose Ramirez last night had a game with 3 hits and 3 walks. That's the second time he's done that in his career. He also did it last season. He joins Larry Walker, Matt Holliday, Jose Reyes, and Lamont Wade Jr. As the only players in the wild card era to have multiple such games, and he's the only player in Cleveland Guardians franchise history to have multiple such games in his career. Alluded to it earlier. Bobby Miller's start last night, another disaster start. His first start of the season, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. In the 6 starts since, 23 innings pitched, 33 hits, 26 earned runs, with more walks, 17, than strikeouts, 16. Not great. Looking ahead to today, the Orioles continue their series with the Cubs. It's Imanaga on the bump. No team in baseball has more homers against 4-seam fastballs from left-handed pitchers this season than Baltimore. And as we've covered, Imanaga has allowed 6 homers off his 4-seamer over his last 7 starts after allowing just 2 through his first 9. Julio Rodriguez's homer on Tuesday was his, that came against a slider. That was his first homer against anything other than a fastball since September 28th of last season. Chris Sale, former Red Sox great, is the 7th Braves pitcher to reach 12 wins by the All-Star break in the wild card era. He joins Jair Jurgens in 2011, Russ Ortiz in 2003, Tom Glavine and Maddox in 98, Denny Nagel in 97, and John Smoltz in 96. So just imagine that mid to late 90s Braves rotation. For 4 straight seasons, they had 3 straight seasons, they had somebody reach 12 or more wins at the All-Star break. That's just fucking crazy. Brian Bayo is the first Red Sox pitcher since John Lackey 10 years ago to have a start with 11 or more strikeouts while also allowing at least 5 runs and 9 hits. And then lastly, there were 50 home runs hit on Tuesday, which is the most homers hit on any single day so far this season.
Big time.
Thank you.
Family Feud tomorrow?
Let's do it.
Family Feud tomorrow.
I also, not to like jump ahead, but I know there's something else left on the docket for tomorrow too.
Yeah, there sure is.
I can't really prepare for it in any way, and I don't know if it's coming to me, but I'm keyed in.
Ready. I think it is your turn.
Technically, if we're rotating, it is, but I know you like to keep people on their toes, so who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe Dallas will get doubled up here.
Maybe Jake's gonna get one.
Ooh, love to see that, Mr. Always calm under pressure.
Yeah, you never know. But Family Feud. By the way, are we planning on? I think it would be great if we did like a Section 10 versus Baseball is Dead Family Feud we live streamed. Yeah.
We could probably do that from the house.
Yeah, if we found a way to put that on the YouTube channel and live streamed it, I don't know how like production wise that would work, but people want that.
What are we live streaming?
Family Feud, Section 10 versus Baseball is Dead
from the house.
From the house.
We'll wait till you get there.
Yeah. So I think the way that it would probably work is. Well, because Coley, unless we like zoomed him in, like we wouldn't have even numbers. It would be me, Jay Hay, Dallas, and Joey. Actually, no. Yeah, me, Dallas, Jay Hay, Joey versus Jake, Tyler, Steve, and it would have to be Coley, but Coley's not going to be in Dallas.
Or not that I am encouraging this. But if we had to, you could go over to the other side and Connor could play for us, right? Is Connor going to be around, or is he just coming in for the actual Derby?
No, he's going to be around.
Okay. So we could do it that way. Or unless he does, he doesn't do social stuff for Section 10, right?
No.
Yeah, so that's one way we could get around that. I haven't talked to him, though. He might, in person, if he's dumb as a rock, I may withdraw that, but...
It's true. But I mean, you do have you and Dallas. Like, so you do have 2 smart guys on your team.
That's nice of you to say.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I'm down for, I will take any teammates for sure. I'm down to participate.
If that's the case, though, then who's the host?
Right. That's another thing we need to figure out. Maybe we get Blattman to come over to the house.
Yeah, he could do that. He's very hosty.
Does Joe West want to host?
Joe West.
Hosted by Joe West.
No, hold on. Let's not limit ourselves.
Joe West could be on Team Baseball is Dead.
What's Steve Harvey up to?
Oh.
I could talk to Harv.
Last time we asked this, Joe West ended up umpiring our home run derby. So
that's true.
Maybe it's worth asking Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
I could talk to Harv. He's got me saved in his phone as record setter, so he knows who it's coming from.
Record setter.
Yeah, text him.
I'll talk to Harv.
Yeah, send him a text. Any final thoughts, Dallas?
Yeah, I just figured out where Sweet Caroline came from, why they sing it in the 8th inning at the Boston Red Sox game.
Why do they do that?
Do you know why?
I'm sure if you started this story, I'd be able to finish it, not off the top of my head, but I'm sure I've heard it.
It's because there was a lady whose friend was having a baby, and the baby's name was Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
So, in an effort to show their excitement and appreciation, adulation for their friend and their brand new announcement, they played that song just to, like, tip of the cap. Baby Caroline, happy, hey, congratulations, you had a kid, and its name's Caroline. So here's this song. But the reaction from the fans was such that they said, hey, that was pretty sweet. Let's run that back. And so they've been running it back ever since.
So if this urban legend is true, then the person who was born is like 26 or 27 years old. The Caroline.
Roughly. Correct.
Get him on the pod.
Yeah, get him on the pod. So we can yell at them for being born, because I fucking hate that song.
If I can locate this person, would we like to get them on the pod?
Yes.
All right.
I'm saying yes, mostly because I want you to hunt down a person that we have very little information about.
Yeah.
Done. I will see what I can do.
All right.
Great.
Jake's takes.
I'm just really hoping Dallas's convo with Breslow goes well this afternoon, because I'm a little bit nervous about the future of the Red Sox being in Dallas's hands.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, don't be a puss, okay? Like, don't back down and just let him. I played talk to you, because you played too, man.
You played too, Dallas.
So don't ever forget that.
Team.
Yeah, don't ever forget that, and just stand up for the Red Sox and the fans, okay, and the players, and just remember that you're gonna have to go look Rafi and Jaron Duran in the eyes and tell them that you failed if Craig Breslow doesn't come through. So
you could definitely
that's part
beat
of the
him
deal
up too. Yeah, you're definitely taller than him. You could definitely beat him up too. So don't be afraid.
Yeah, so beat him up.
Is that something you want me to do for you? Because you're not taller than him. You want me to attack him?
I'm definitely taller than him. Craig Breslow's like 5'4", dude. You want me to look it up?
No. Hey.
Craig Breslow height. Yeah, 5'7".
Final thought. An additional final thought. I had some incredible steak tips the other night.
Did you?
Great steak tips.
Yeah.
Yep. That wasn't even the best beef at dinner. It was good steak tips. So, what?
Oh.
What? That's because my wife got a burger. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's always good to be back in Saugus.
Yeah. That actually was Saugus. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was
I
Saugus. Yeah.
Meg actually asked. So she was like, "Is this?" We drove by the loon, and she was like, "Is that it?" Side note: that's fucking massive.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty big."
Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, she wanted to stop off, see my picture on the wall. I told her, "Babe, we got time."
Yeah, they threw that away a long time ago.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Did shout out Andy's name though as we drove by. Andy.
I'm sure he heard
So
you.
Andy, if you're listening, we love you.
Yeah, he was listening. He's always listening.
Can't go wrong with Andy Wong, baby.
That's right. That's right. All right. We will be back tomorrow with Family Feud and maybe guess that player. I don't know. We're due once a week, and we're due. Brent's due. So we'll see you there.
We out.